Alright, Landers, so earlier today I asked you, what do you think about the brand new anime versions of Mayuri, Zombie Toshiro, and also Zombie Rangiku? Personally, I'm actually a really big fan of this banner. One, because the character choicing, I like all three characters, but also two, what the characters actually offer. And with that in mind, it kind of makes it in a very easy skip, at least for me. That's not to say the characters are bad, I personally just don't need them, and I'm perfectly happy with getting them later on. Which makes it perfectly timed because the anniversary is coming up, and I really feel like I and many others need a banner to skip, and that very well could be this banner right here. Now, these are characters I definitely want to pick up later on, potentially when they do become a filler in the future, because Mayuri looks to be a lot of fun, Toshiro looks really good in my opinion, and then Rangiku is actually an exceptional normal attack damage character. She's finally getting skills that I wanted normal attack damage characters to get. For example, the follow-up skill. At least for us Guild Quest heads, she might be a very relevant link as she is the normal attack damage alternative to Mugetsu's soul trait, offering 25% normal attack damage to any character on your team as a soul trait. And in a way, I also do like the team-up abilities that Toshiro and also Rangiku have. It's very rare for us to get two characters with the same killer and also affiliation in the same banner. And it being Toshiro and Rangiku in their zombie forms, both the same attribute, both the same killer effects, it's kind of cool having two characters that in a way combo and benefit from each other, especially with the Soul Reaper Resonance skill, which is a skill that we don't see return all too often. Personally though, if there was one thing I would have changed in this banner is making Mayuri the spotlight unit. Now that's not me saying I wanted him to be the exact same as Toshiro, being a speed holo killer, but I really wanted Mayuri to have an EX attack, especially because his gameplay seems to be the most fun. Toshiro's already gotten the spotlight. He was technically an anniversary headliner during the 9th anniversary, so I can understand while it might feel a tad bit repetitive that Toshiro's getting another good character. But maybe the mindset is that Toshiro shouldn't get a 1000 Jibota character for quite some time, given that he doesn't do anything in Season 3, and maybe they're saving a really good EX Mayuri for Core 3 Mayuri when he uses his Altered Bankai. But that's my opinion on the banner, so let's go ahead and check out what you let have to say. So we do have over 100 comments. I do want to keep this video relatively short to get it out on time. So we're not going to, of course, be able to read every comment, but we might, quickly go through some of these and just see what we can cover. So Slayer Wick is saying, would love to summon for Tosh, but too bad it's so close to the anniversary. Oh well, might as well wait until he returns. If anything, that's definitely the best thing to do. I think everyone right now, unless they are your favorite units, if these characters are your favorite units and you want to pull for them, that's nothing wrong with that. For me though, I like the characters, but I am fine with getting them later on. But I think most of us should be saving for the anniversary, which I feel like why this banner is good, because it isn't a must summon. Defel is saying, Grammy looking at Toshiro and Rangiku, look what they need to mimic a fraction of my power. And that is in regards to their performance in Guild Quest content. As of right now, when it comes to the ranged Holo Killer Guild Quest, which to be fair, doesn't need new characters, Grammy is more available. He's going to be in the upcoming 10th anniversary, which gives you less reason to summon for Toshiro, but in all honesty, Toshiro is not even that far behind. I mean, we'll have to see how it goes when the character actually releases and we get actual gameplay, but when it comes to base Transcendence, if they're both level 1, Toshiro's honestly not far off, and he does also get the benefit of being able to get boosted by characters like Akon, and again, even Rangiku as well, right? She's also buffing Toshiro and Toshiro's buffing her, so if you do want to go with the Toshiro and Rangiku combo, it's definitely a viable strategy, and very well might get similar scores to a character like Grammy, but again, the difference is that Grammy's premium, he's almost a year old, you're likely to have the character 5 out of 5 before you ever get even dupes of Toshiro. But in regards to Rangiku, she's actually very good. Like, the difference between her and any other normal attack damage character is night and day. So that's why I think Rangiku is the more impactful unit in this banner, as she is fulfilling a role that hasn't been fulfilled in quite some time. But at the same time, Toshiro can potentially be used alongside Grammy and potentially clear even faster, because you can do that. But yeah, in a way, it does take both Toshiro and Rangiku just to compete with Grammy, and I kind of understand it. Toshiro is just an end-of-month unit despite releasing almost a year later. Grammy is the pinnacle of power creep, and we're not going to get a character similar to his level besides end of year and basically 10th anniversary. So it is kind of a funny situation of Caleb making 2 units combined just to compete with 1 unit. Shirogami is saying, I mean, it's alright, Mayuri looks cool though. I think Mayuri looks really cool. And that's why, again, I wanted him to have the EX skill and maybe a different killer effect. Not Holo Killer, but something different. I don't mind that Mayuri is a Guild Quest character. If anything, he might be one that ages the best, at least when compared to Toshiro. But this form of Mayuri is really cool, and I would love to take him into Limit Breaker, but unfortunately, due to his killer, I'm likely not going to. Yugrim says, it really hurts me that this banner came out now rather than later, meaning most of us will be skipping it for the anniversary. I also dislike how Toshiro's ice is blue instead of purple like the old one. but really none of the three are bad by any means. It's just really unfortunate timing for the banner. It depends how you look at it. I think it's perfect timing because most people want to start saving for anniversary. This banner makes it the perfect time to skip. Had this released like 2 months ago, I mean, maybe it would have been a tad bit more exciting. Had it released after, maybe I wouldn't have been super impressed with the characters, given that, you know, they're not the best of the best. So again, I don't mind that it is quite the easy skip, but I think the timing is perfect for me in regards to saving orbs for the anniversary. With that in mind, when it comes to his older version having like the purplish eyes, I agree that does look better, but obviously this is just a situation of Brave Souls following the anime design. If the anime was purple, the new one would have been purple. Tosh is cool, 2 steps, I agree. I'll also be doing 2 steps. I might have done more if the banner fillers were significantly better, but I think 2 steps is good enough right now. Rojiro Bankai saying, nice banner, Toshiro and Mayuri are really good, and Rangiku is a broken link. Unfortunately, useless aside from that. I mean, she'll be a good character in Guild Quest. Very surprised to not see you talk about Bankai Rose, because that's probably going to be some comments that we're going to see today. He's one of the few characters that a lot of us have been waiting for alongside Mayuri, and it really does feel like they're delaying or just avoiding doing Bankai Rose. But hopefully in due time, who knows? We are, after all, still waiting for a Bankai Yamamoto, and that happened in Season 1 of Thousand Year Blood War. Since Toshiro already has a Limit Breaker unit with an EX move, Mayuri being the Limit Breaker character would have made more sense in my opinion. He has his movement in Core 3 though, so let's hope he gets a better unit for that. And that very well could be the idea. Maybe I'm giving Caleb the benefit of the doubt. They must really just love Toshiro. I mean, overall, Toshiro is one of the more popular characters, hence why he has gotten this. But yeah, it's entirely possible that Caleb just wants to make the next Mayuri the Limit Breaker unit. I feel like, to be fair, Core 3 Mayuri does deserve the better treatment, at least when compared to their original release. Nemu was the significantly better one. I also want Nemu to get a really good character, but she got the spotlight and overshadowed Mayuri on their initial release. So Mayuri can be the better one of the two, maybe 3 if we count Benida. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind that. Chris G is saying, I'm fine with the banner. Good characters and a new Rangiku from no screen time is good to see more opportunities for new characters. I'm still skipping for swimsuits and anniversary. I understand it, I'm basically doing the same. And that's one thing to talk about too. Rangiku in a way is a Brave Souls original character. I mean, obviously it's from a canon event. We see her turn into a zombie, but she never does anything. And I think that's good for the game. Again, Brave Souls is one of the few Bleach games that can actually afford to do that, where they can really give us any character, whether that's original forms, whether that's seasonals, or even characters that literally do nothing in the anime. Maybe not the best comparison because it is a console game, but, you know, that was one of the problems with Bleach or Rebirth of Souls, is that they didn't have a lot of characters, or more so they were missing key characters. There was no fun units that are just there to be goofy, and that's the stuff we kind of get in Brave Souls. This lad is saying, I need all Toshiro, so I'm definitely summoning. Good luck to you. Tony is saying, I only really like Mayuri because he looks like a funny guy. But the rest of the banner, I couldn't really care for. Toshiro's animations sadly all look the same because it's ice, and I'd rather stay for swimsuits / anniversary, so I'm skipping. I think most of us are in the same boat here. WWE is saying, I'm super happy that we finally have Sunflower Mayuri in game. Even though I love Toshiro, I wish Mayuri was the Limit Breaker character of the month because he rarely gets characters, especially if you compare him to Toshiro, who gets multiple seasonals, Blood War, premium characters every year. And again, I pretty much agree. I would have loved Mayuri to be the EX character, especially because he does showcase quite a bit. It would have been really cool to see an EX move that maybe turned him into his rainbow RGB modes, even if just for like a second. I feel like that would have been significantly cooler. But again, like we said, maybe it's copium. Maybe the idea is to make Core 3 Mayuri the Limit Breaker character of the month whenever he does release. At the same time, that just could be a convenient way of thinking. I mean, look at Bankai Renji. The character came out, was super disappointing, but then we found out we're going to get a Core 3 Renji, and it was perfectly fine that he ended up being a Brave Battle unit, because the character we're about to get in Core 3 is significantly cooler. Williams is saying, this Mayuri is the only character I've been waiting for so long, so Def gonna do 25 steps. Don't care if they are mid or whatever. And you know, let's not get it wrong, they aren't really mids. They aren't pushing the future of power creep, but that's perfectly fine. Not every character needs to be significantly better than the previous one. But Mayuri's role, a lead spiritual brusher unit for the Squad 0 guild quest, he is currently the best character for that phase. I mean, Rukia is perfectly fine and Rukia works. More options, in my opinion, is never a bad thing, because other than Rukia, you basically have Yumachika, who's a tad bit awkward, and some odd characters. But remember, the way these characters do work is that Mayuri does have status augment plus, so he can instantly inflict his paralysis, and that will not stop Rukia from inflicting status augments, and she also does serve as a team booster, so, you know, one of my criticisms towards Rukia as a character could actually benefit her in the future, as she's now going to be regarded as the team booster alongside Mayuri, and you can use both of them to deal really good damage. So in all honesty, the best Squad 0 team might be Mayuri Rukia, and potentially Shunsui if you want to go for that normal attack damage character. If you don't need it, you could just go with a character like Tenjiro to buff all the characters' damage output, because they're both Soribas. So yeah, Mayuri is not really mid, he's just not super needed, which again I think is fine. At the very least though, he looks like a fun character, and if you have been waiting for him, do what you gotta do. I was waiting for Giselle, did 25 steps for her, and I also special move sourced her. At the end of the day, the best way to play this game is to summon for your favorites, and work is to summon for your favorites and play with your favorites. As long as you're doing that, you're not really doing anything wrong. This lad is saying probably gonna do 2 steps at most, but the characters seem cool overall. It baffles me they didn't make Mayuri the star of this banner though. Similar thoughts are being shared in the comment section. Next is saying I'm all in for anniversary at this point. That's all I'm committed to. I hear it. I think most people should do the same. Although we'll see how committed some of you lads are when it comes to the banners that we are going to get in June. Because I've been hearing some crazy things. We're potentially going to get a live stream for mid-month June. So another countdown anniversary banner. It might be hard to save orbs in the month of June. I will be honest. This lad says I think I'm going to summon, but I don't know yet. Robesco is saying I'm really happy that Mayuri is competing against Grammy so that he can have more space to shine. And that is kind of true. But it does hurt they made Zombie Toshiro ranged since he's a But it does hurt that they made Zombie Toshiro ranged since the previous character was so unique in his strong attack here. Still, we got something really good, but to me it was never be as fun compared to the melee one. And the melee one that we did get a few years ago had quite the cool kit, you know, double lunge. It's something that we've seen occasionally, but it is kind of a rare strong attack here. But to be fair, in a way, you can look at it as, you know, it's better to have different things. Whenever a character does remade, you don't want them to be the exact same. You do want them to be a bit different from another, besides, of course, the visuals. Kind of saying they all look damn great, especially Mayuri. I really like his model, and his animations are crazy and fun, embodying his essence well, and the dark skinned zombies look good on both Rangiku and Toshiro. But I have Grammy and Rukia well duped out, so they aren't really a must summon, nor will they add much value to my account. That's pretty much how I feel. In regards to Mayuri's model, it might be one of the best models in the entire game, and in terms of the animations, I already spoke about it, but he actually looks really cool, and that Sobum might be one of my favorites in the game, at least in the last year. I think it's just kind of funny the way it works, and it's exactly what you expect of a Sunflower Mayuri. Aizen saying incredible, but kind of disappointed that the first Zombie Rangiku is a normal attack damage character. And even if I loved the banner, I think that anyone has already Grammy and Rukia can skip it and start saving for the anniversary. That's definitely true. Random user is saying just what we need right now given it's an easy skip so close to anniversary. But it also helps beef up the rates either in tickets or future banners where they could return as fillers in the future. Also pleased that this is a 3-person banner too. And we haven't really spoke about that, but yeah, in all honesty, this could have been a 2-character banner. They really could have done us dirty because no one likes 2-character end of month banners. At least I don't. I don't mind it for mid-month because it works with the banner format, but 2-character end of months are quite boring. So them throwing in a 3rd character, that being Zombie Rangiku, I think is actually really cool, does make the banner better, and again, similar thoughts are being shared here. It's a good banner. They're not necessarily bad, just not entirely needed, which is the perfect timing as we are so close to the anniversary. The last thing we would want now is a must summon. Muhammad is saying in terms of killer skills, this banner is not needed and we have replacements that are strong enough for 50 plus seconds in guild quests. In terms of visuals, oh my goodness, Mayuri looks majestic as heck, and him having a strong attack where he increases his brightness is so brilliant that I wanted them to make a strong attack, and I'm glad they did. Also, his SA3 puts a barrier in terms of the visuals and blows the enemies away, leaves a trap effect behind. That's so cool and in character for Mayuri. His Sobum is exactly the way I imagined it would be. It looks amazing, and I'm not going to skip the animation in co-op or ER, so be ready. I might have to, no, I'm not going to avoid epic raids or co-op. I rate the Sobum again. I kind of want to see it too. I wouldn't mind if you play out. It's one of the few Sobums that I wouldn't mind being played out. The only complaint I would have in Mayuri is the lack of an EX move, because they could have made him command the corpse, or Nemu could have came in and attacked. That would have been really cool in my opinion. I don't like it when the EX attack is just an additional attack with nothing special about it, like Toshiro and Vastolorde. But Mayuri does have a lot of unique attacks, and they could have given him something unique too. That's again how I feel about this character. I think the character is perfect as is. Maybe I would have preferred a different killer. Not that big of a deal. But I think the lack of an EX skill is kind of unfortunate because of what they could have done. Zelion is saying, nah, but how are all the zombies speed and Giselle's tech? Did they plan this? So in regards to that, right, we've gotten 3 zombies that have specifically come from Giselle in terms of anime characters, and they're all speed. Zombie Bambietta, Zombie Toshiro, and Zombie Rangiku are all speed characters, which is kind of funny. I'm hoping that's the plan. I mean, at this point, the only more zombies entries we could get from Giselle are essentially Kensei and Rose. Is that going to happen? I mean, it's a possibility. They did it with Rangiku, so they could do the same for them. And it would be really funny if all of them just end up being Speed, the attribute that is weak to Giselle. Ronozora is saying good characters, but it's the worst time because the anniversary is so near, so I am skipping, and most people are. And nobody really needs Toshiro since Gremmy is dominating Hollow Guild Quest, and if you want to replace him, you gotta get 2 characters. Like, it was 1 character, it would make it a little easier to summon, because going after 1 character is easier than going after 2 characters. And yeah, that's definitely true. At the same time, it's a way to balance the character too. Like, if they want the character to compete with Gremmy, I feel like they should have given him Frenzy Free in Guild Quests, but they also don't clearly want to make him super broken that he competes with an anniversary character, because this is just a normal end of month unit. Big W, I was summoned 3 steps because I'm broke, because I don't want any other character than Toshiro, Yuhabak, and also Yamamoto. Good luck to you if you are summoning. Monkey is saying it was a 2v1 against Gremmy and he still might win. Probably will, let's be honest, especially if you have duplicates of him. Skipping this for Annie, already burned my orbs for Esnot for Guild Quests, and you got him on the last day of the quest. At least you got him though. He's an overall good character, fun character too. Wing is saying W picks, fun banner. Really wish Mayuri was a Stammer to Killer Plus lead. I also do need that to be fair, so I agree. Also, they think it's funny that they made 2 characters to try and take Gremmy's spot as the best range Holo GQ character. Waiting for the rerun, same for Anniversary, I hear it. I'll do 6 steps to get the character for the appointment, but that's my limit. In order to have 5,000 orbs for the 10th anniversary. I find this way more interesting than the swimsuit banner, that's fair. It would surprise me if we get Bikini Toshiro for June, with the rate Calibers dropping him. That is crazy. I mean, I think the pattern thus far has been a Toshiro twice a year, and we've already gotten that, you know, this close into the year. We're only like, what, about to enter June, and we've already gotten 2. But again, at least as far as Bloodwater is concerned, there's no Toshiro that can happen anymore, so we don't have to worry about 1,000 Jibodwa Toshiro jump scaring us into a call 4. But that maybe opened up the door for a potential Toshiro in a seasonal banner, maybe later next year. I don't know what banner they could do, but it's always a possibility with that character, as he is such a popular unit. Crime says they look fine. I think I'm one of the few that doesn't mind Mayuri isn't the Holo Killer. I think most of us just wanted him to be the EX character, the Limit Breaker unit, not necessarily have the Holo Killer, but I see where you're coming from, and I kind of agree. He definitely will be more important as a Squad 0 killer, so it does benefit him that he does have that. Animations are looking good. Might throw a multi at it, hoping to get either Mayuri or Shinji. I would recommend most people, especially depending on your orb count if it's high. Above 3,000, let's just say that 2 discount steps doesn't hurt. It's always worth trying to go for the characters in case you can get them at a discounted rate. But other than that, again, you can just get them later on. Not even June yet, and we already have a second Toshiro. I mean, it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. Popular characters are going to get a lot of characters. I don't think the zombie Toshiro is the problem, but maybe to a certain extent we didn't need the Toshiro at the start of the year. That easily could have been someone else. But that's also a premium character, so like I didn't care who it was. To me, as someone that only looks at Blood War or limited end of month units, we've essentially only gotten 2 important Toshiros. The one that came out during the anniversary, part 2, and then now this one. Love the art, might go to at least step 10 for Mummy Rangiku. Also, swimsuit is coming, right? So we'll see. Swimsuits are this time next month. So keep that in mind if you do plan to summon, if you know you're going to be baited by females in swimsuits. So let's scroll down just to see some different comments, because I do want to talk about this one. So Punchy Panther is saying, honestly, I don't know what they were thinking. Toshiro is not better than Gremmy, so why summon for Toshiro unless he's your favorite character? Same for Mayuri. Rukia does his job too. So again, that's just the way gacha games are, right? Just because Gremmy exists doesn't mean that we should never get a new character for the ranged solo guild quest for a year plus. I understand that Toshiro's not needed, Gremmy does the job, but at the same time this game is meant to be played with your favorite units. Unless you're in S League and trying to compete for very good scores, if you want to have fun with your favorite character Toshiro and get a good score in guild quest, you can do that, even if you have Gremmy. There's nothing wrong with that. And in the case of Mayuri, yeah, Rukia does exist, Mayuri is better, they both work together, so, you know, if you care about guild quest scores and you really want to go for those sweaty scores, Mayuri is a bit more needed because he is going to be better than Rukia, especially because you can use both of them in the same team. This lad is saying that end-of-month banners become their way of getting rid of unhyped 1000G Bloodborne units. Not really sure what that means. I mean, Sunflower Mayuri has been the talk of the town the last 5 months. Every prediction video for every end of month was just Mayuri, Mayuri, Mayuri. Some Bonkai Rose here and there, but he is one of the characters that we just kept hearing time and time again. Every month there was a post on Reddit, when is this character coming? And it's understandable, he was one of the last remaining characters from Core 2, especially as far as storyboards are concerned. There's still a lot of Core 2 moments that we are missing that we'll get later on. We aren't always going to go in order, but I wouldn't say Mayuri is an unhyped character. Neither is Toshiro. You know, this definitely isn't like the most exciting Core 2 banner, but I'd say it's an overall pretty cool banner. Had the character released at a different time with maybe different killers, I would have been a bit more excited and maybe even summoned on it. This line is saying, could we get Hallucination Zai up now? I want to see him yapping on his soul bomb. I don't think so, but I'd be down for it. Maybe. This started saying, I swear if they add more zombie units, I'm gonna crash out. It's gonna happen. I mean, I don't think there's any more zombies from Giselle. Again, they could do Kensei and Rose, but probably not. At least not for now. We ain't even got Bankai Rose yet. But we're definitely gonna get a zombie Dordoni, a zombie Lupi, a zombie Charlotte. I mean, we already knew that given the fact that, you know, Saruchi happened. And personally, I'm super excited for a zombie Charlotte. Given the attack that he does do in the anime, it's going to make for a very fun soul bomb. So I can't wait to see that. Hopefully, not sometime soon, but, you know, in due time. Six Pubs is saying, besides Mayuri, to me, it's pure madness. Rose needed a character, and they decided to do Zombie Rangiku when she did nothing in the show other than just standing there. She did not deserve to get this character at all. I don't know what Caleb would do in characters who did nothing versus characters who actually show something, such as Bankai Rose. Which, mind you, Rose is my favorite Bleach character, and I've been waiting for his character since the manga era. Honestly, I understand the frustration, because he is one of those characters that have been delayed super long. Not even delayed, they just haven't gone to him yet, I guess. At this point, I don't think it's happening because Caleb don't like him enough, other than Mayuri is great lovely. Again, the thing is, right, you in this situation would not have wanted Bankai Rose in replacement for Rangiku, because Rangiku was the normal attack damage character. And let's be honest, as far as new characters are concerned, it's probably the least favorite character archetype, because in a way, the character is just designed to be used as an autoplay character. I mean, nowadays, thanks to the Senkamon update, you can actually get a use out of them there, and by all means, you can use them outside of Guild Quest, but they mainly are designed to be used as auto characters. So, you know, you would have been significantly more annoyed had Bankai Rose come out and had the exact same skill set and attack set as Zombie Rangiku. In a way, if Caleb know they're going to do a normal attack damage character of the banner, it's better they don't do a hype character. Similar to Zombie Bambietta and also Giselle, those were the hype characters, those are the popular characters, those are the characters people wanted, and then they just threw in Saruchi as the normal attack damage character. In this case, you know, it's clear that Mayuri and Toshiro were the headliners, I guess, of the banner. They were the more important ones, and Rangiku just took the normal attack damage slot. And as someone that's also been waiting for Bankai Rose since the manga era, Rose is by no means my favorite character, but I think his Bankai is pretty cool. I thought the moment was cool, and I'm surprised we haven't gotten it just yet, so it's kind of adding more excitement for me, because I want to see what this character looks like in game. And with the new status and plus mechanic, it'll be really cool to have him be similar to Bankai Senjumaru, where each attack can inflict a different stat as woman. So, you know, it is what it is. It's better he's not in this banner because he would have been a normal attack damage character. And in my opinion, there's almost nothing wrong with turning a character that almost did nothing into a unit in game, because that's kind of the fun stuff that we can get from Brave Souls. So with that said, that seems to be our community's reaction regarding the 3 new characters. I think a lot of people like the characters, especially with how Mayuri does look in game. They all look good. They all look good in my opinion. Every now and then someone have a nitpick, but for the most part, I think Caleb did a pretty good job. I think a lot of us would have preferred if Mayuri was the headliner of the banner, gets an EX skill, not necessarily be the holo killer, but more so just be the limit breaker character of the month with an EX skill. Would have definitely preferred that because he's more exciting. Toshiro gets a lot of characters, so I can understand the repetitiveness to a certain extent regarding, you know, his release schedule. Some people might be upset that Zombie Rangiku took a spot over another character, but I think it does work out in the best, especially as that does open the door for that character that has yet to release. Again, there's a few characters to be better in the future. I mean, personally, I'm still waiting for a Bankai Yamamoto. With the anime visuals, we haven't gotten that just yet. We have manga Bankai Yamamotos, but I want an anime one, and it's been a while. I thought he would have been here by now, but hopefully in the long run, it is worth the wait. Ultimately, though, these 3 characters I think are perfectly timed right now, at least for me, because they're good characters to have. They're good characters overall, but not necessarily must summons. And that's the perfect banner to release right now before the anniversary starts in July. June is going to potentially have some pretty big banners with June mid-month and also end of month, so you're definitely going to want to save some orbs unless these are your favorite characters. If they are, you gotta do what you gotta do, get your favorite character, and hopefully you can get them relatively quick. But with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time, take care, and peace.